The massive alien warships floated in space above Earth like giant metal monsters. Admiral Vextar pressed his face against the window of his biggest ship, the Dominator, and looked down at the blue and green planets spinning below. His soldiers had used their best machines to scan the world, and what they found made him laugh. "Look at these weak creatures," he said to his officers. "They can barely fly to their own moon, and they waste their food on stupid animals. This will be the easiest war we have ever fought." The alien scans showed humans living with dogs, cats, horses, and cows. To the aliens, these looked like harmless pets and farm animals. They had no idea what other creatures lived on Earth. Aliens had conquered 17 other worlds before coming to Earth, and every time it had been simple. The creatures on those worlds were either too weak or too scared to fight back properly. Down on Earth, in a secret underground room beneath the city of Seoul, Lieutenant Kim Woo-bin stared at the computer screens with worry in his eyes. The alien message was clear after their computers translated it: "Give up now, or we will kill everyone." But what scared him most was how the aliens talked about Earth's animals like they were nothing important. "They do not understand," he said to Colonel Park Min-ho, who was trying to organize soldiers all around the world. "They think our animals are just pets and farm helpers." Dr. Lee Soo-jin, a smart woman who studied alien life, looked up from her tablet computer. Their machines probably saw our dogs, cats, horses, and cows.
Wow.
They have no idea about the other animals that live here. She was thinking about the tigers hiding in Asian forests, the great white sharks swimming in the oceans, the huge grizzly bears living in the mountains, and the massive elephants walking across African plains. The aliens had no idea that Earth was home to some of the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy. Colonel Park Min-ho turned on the communication system that connected to every military base on Earth. "All soldiers, get ready for a different kind of war. Call every zoo, every wildlife park, and every ocean research center. We are going to show these invaders what Earth can really do." In space, the alien landing ships began to fall toward Earth like deadly rain. Each ship carried 12 alien soldiers with powerful energy weapons and special suits to protect them. From Earth's air, alien crews felt confident because their technology was much better than anything humans had. Their weapons could cut through metal, and their suits could protect them from most attacks. "This planet will fall in 3 days," said Captain Zulthan, as his ship entered Earth's atmosphere, "maybe less. These humans look even weaker than the last species we conquered." But far below, in the forests and oceans and mountains of Earth, something was stirring. In Yellowstone National Park, a massive grizzly bear named Bruno lifted his head and sniffed the air. His nose, which was thousands of times better than any human nose, could smell something wrong. Something that did not belong. In the Pacific Ocean, a great white shark named Jaws felt the vibrations of the alien ships through the water. Her body, which had been designed by millions of years of evolution to be a perfect killing machine, sensed danger approaching her territory in the Amazon rainforest. A jaguar named Spotted Death crouched on a tree branch and watched the sky. His eyes, which could see in almost complete darkness, tracked the strange metal objects falling from above. All around the world, Earth's predators were waking up. Lions in Africa, tigers in Asia, wolves in North America, and crocodiles in Australia all felt the same thing. Invaders were coming to their home. The aliens had made a terrible mistake. They thought Earth was weak because humans cared for animals, instead of using them as weapons. They thought the bond between humans and animals was a sign of weakness. They had no idea that this bond was actually Earth's greatest strength, as the first alien ships prepared to land. Dr. Lee Soo-jin smiled grimly. "They are about to learn why Earth is called a death world by every space-traveling species that has ever visited us. Every creature here, from the smallest ant to the largest whale, has been fighting for survival for millions of years. We did not domesticate these animals. We made friends with them. The alien ships touched down in forests, deserts, and grasslands all over Earth. The soldiers inside checked their weapons one more time and prepared to step out onto what they thought was a helpless planet full of weak creatures they had no idea that Earth's animals had been waiting for this moment. The planet's greatest predators, working together with humans for the first time in history, were about to show the aliens what real power looked like. The war for Earth was about to begin, and it would be unlike any war the galaxy had ever seen. The alien ship called Stryker landed in the thick forests of Montana, the loud crash that scared away all the small birds and rabbits. 12 alien soldiers stepped out of their ship, each one carrying a powerful energy gun that could burn through metal. Their leader, squad leader Nexfell, looked around at the quiet trees and felt very confident. "This looks easy," he said into his helmet radio. "Start checking the area for threats. Our computer says there are some four-legged farm animals around here. Kill anything that comes close to us." What the aliens did not know was that they had landed very close to Glacier National Park, where some of the biggest and most dangerous bears on Earth lived. It was also the time of year when these bears were most hungry and most angry. Nexfell was looking at his computer screen when he heard a loud crack of breaking branches. He looked up and saw something that made his blood freeze. A massive grizzly bear, weighing over 800 pounds, was walking out of the forest straight toward them. The bear's fur was dark brown, and its claws were as long as kitchen knives. "The animal," Nexfell shouted, pointing his energy weapon at the bear. But the bear was much faster than he expected. The huge creature ran toward them like a furry truck, covering the ground between the trees and the aliens in just a few seconds. Nexfell fired his weapon, and the energy beam hit the bear's shoulder, burning through its fur and skin. But instead of stopping the bear, this just made it angrier. The bear roared so loud that it hurt the aliens' ears, even through their helmets. Then it crashed into the first alien soldier like a living bulldozer. The bear's massive paws knocked the soldier to the ground, and its teeth, each one bigger than a human thumb, bit down on the alien's arm. The soldier's special protective suit, which was supposed to stop most weapons, tore like paper under the bear's claws and teeth. "Help me!" the soldier screamed, but his friends were too busy running away from more bears that were coming out of the forest. It seemed like the first bear had called for backup. 50 kilometers away, Marine Sergeant Han Juwu was watching the whole fight through his binoculars from the top of a hill. I'd been ordered to wait and see what happened when the aliens met Earth's wildlife. What he saw made him smile. "Bravo team, get ready to move in," he said into his radio. "Let the local animals do the hard work first, then we will clean up what is left." On the other side of the world, in the hot, wet swamplands of northern Australia, another alien ship was having an even worse time. Captain Zulthan and his 12 soldiers had landed in what looked like a peaceful area with lots of water and grass. Their computer had told them that this area had large jumping mammals and harmless water reptiles. The jumping mammals were kangaroos, which were not dangerous. But the harmless water reptiles were actually saltwater crocodiles, some of the most dangerous predators on Earth. The aliens were walking through the shallow water when the first crocodile attacked. It had been hiding under the murky water, completely still, waiting for the perfect moment. The crocodile was over 20 feet long and weighed more than a small car. When it struck, it moved faster than a speeding bullet. The crocodile's jaws clamped down on an alien soldier's leg with the force of a car crusher. The soldier's protective suit, which could stop energy weapons, was no match for teeth that had been designed by millions of years of evolution to crush. "Bones, my leg. My leg!" The soldier screamed as the crocodile began to spin in the water, trying to tear his leg off. This spinning move, called a death roll, was how crocodiles killed their prey. "Shoot it! Shoot it!" Captain Zulthan yelled, but his soldiers were panicking. More crocodiles were rising from the water all around them, their eyes glowing like yellow lamps in the dark swamp. The aliens fired their energy weapons, but the laser beams just bounced off the crocodile's thick, armored skin. The creatures had survived since the time of the dinosaurs, and their bodies were like living tanks. Australian Army Captain Lee Young-soo was hiding in the tall grass nearby with his soldiers, watching the aliens run around in terror. "Welcome to Australia, you space idiots," he whispered with a big grin. "Nobody told you about our crocodiles, did they? In the Amazon rainforest of South America, The third group of aliens was learning that Earth's harmless insects included bullet ants, whose bite felt like being shot, and that the small spotted cats were actually jaguars, with jaws strong enough to crush turtle shells in alien helmets. As reports came in from alien landing sites all over the world, the aliens began to realize they had made a terrible mistake. Their advanced technology was useless against creatures that had spent millions of years becoming perfect killing machines. Earth was not the weak planet they had expected. It was a world full of monsters, and now those monsters were very angry. The big moment that changed everything happened at San Diego Harbor, where the ocean meets the land in California. The alien warships came floating across the water like giant metal islands, their weapons pointed at the shore. The alien captains thought they would fight against old human boats with weak guns, Captain. Yulma stood on his command ship and looked through his telescope at the human naval base. "This will be easy," he told his crew. "Their ships are made of simple metal, and their weapons are very basic. We'll destroy them in minutes." But on the human warship, USS Defiant, something very special was happening. Commander Park Suman stood on the deck holding his binoculars, watching the alien ships get closer. Next to him, Dr. Kim Hae-jin was listening to sounds that no normal person could hear. She had special underwater microphones that could pick up the voices of sea creatures. "Dolphin Group Alpha is ready to fight," she said into her radio. "The big whales are singing their battle songs. They are ready too." What happened next was something the aliens had never seen in all their wars across the galaxy. And the water began to work together like a team of soldiers. They used their natural sonar, which worked like underwater radar, to find the weak spots on the alien submarines. Then they guided human torpedoes to exactly the right places to cause the most damage. The dolphins were not just helping by accident. They had been trained to work with humans for many years. They understood hand signals, they knew how to carry messages, and they could swim faster and deeper than any human. Now they were using all these skills to fight the invaders. But the dolphins were not alone. Far beneath the waves, the great humpback whales were singing to each other in their deep, booming voices. These songs traveled for hundreds of miles underwater, carrying information about where the alien ships were and how they were moving. "Whale song says alien submarine approaching from the east," Dr. Kim Hae-jin reported. Distance 2 miles and closing fast, the whales themselves became weapons. These massive creatures, some of them as long as school buses and weighing as much as trucks, swam up from the deep ocean and rammed into the alien submarines. Their huge bodies hit the metal. Ships with the force of moving mountains, Captain Yilmaz watched in shock as one of his submarines was hit by a humpback whale. The whale's 40-ton body crashed into the submarine's side, crushing the metal hull like an empty can. Water poured into the broken submarine, and it sank toward the ocean floor. "This is impossible," he shouted at his crew. "The sea creatures are fighting with the humans? They are working together like an army." Another alien captain, watching from a different ship, could not believe what he was seeing. "Sir, the dolphins are using some kind of natural radar to find our ships. And the whales are attacking us on purpose, not by accident. They are intelligent." This was the moment when the aliens finally understood their terrible mistake. Had thought Earth's animals were just pets and farm helpers. They had no idea that humans and animals on Earth were actually friends and partners who had learned to work together over thousands of years in the water. A pod of dolphins was swimming in perfect formation around a human submarine. Dolphins could dive deeper and swim faster than any human machine, so they acted as scouts and messengers. When they found an alien ship, they would swim back to the humans and lead them to the target. One dolphin named Splash had been working with the human navy for 5 years. She knew how to carry messages, how to find lost divers, and how to spot danger underwater. Now she was using all her skills to help protect her human friends from the alien invaders. The whales were even more impressive. A huge male humpback whale named Deep Voice was swimming beneath the alien fleet, songs telling every other whale in the ocean where the enemy ships were located. His voice was so powerful that whales hundreds of miles away could hear him and join the fight. "The aquatic creatures are not just helping the humans," Captain Yulmas said with growing fear. "They are part of the human military." They had been trained to fight alongside humans as equal partners. The alien fleet, which had seemed so powerful just hours before, was now being destroyed by an enemy they had never imagined. Human ships worked together with dolphins and whales in a way that seemed like magic to the aliens. The sea creatures could go places human ships could not reach. They could survive attacks that would sink any metal vessel, as more alien ships sank beneath the waves. The truth became clear to all the invaders. Earth was not a planet where weak creatures kept harmless pets. It was a world where different species had learned to trust each other, work together, and fight as one united family. The aliens had conquered many worlds, but they had never faced anything like this. They were not just fighting humans. They were fighting the entire planet. The war was getting worse for the aliens every day. Now the humans were bringing out Earth's most dangerous animals, and the alien soldiers were becoming very scared. They had never faced anything like this in all their battles across the galaxy. Dr. Kim Jae-soon was floating on his research boat off the coast of South Africa, talking to Admiral Choi Dong-wook through his radio. Great white sharks are like underwater police, he explained. They can smell the electrical signals from alien submarines from very far away. The alien underwater ships thought they were safe beneath the waves, but they were wrong. The great white sharks had been the kings of the ocean for millions of years, and now they were hunting the invaders. These massive sharks, some of them over 20 feet long, could sense the electrical fields that all alien machines gave off. A great white shark named Jaws was swimming silently through the dark water when she detected something that did not belong. Her special senses told her there was an alien submarine nearby, trying to sneak toward the coast. Jaws was 18 feet long and weighed as much as a small car, with teeth like sharp knives. She swam toward the submarine and attacked it like a living torpedo. Her powerful jaws bit down on the submarine's metal hull, and her razor-sharp teeth cut through the alien metal like it was soft cheese. Water rushed into the broken submarine, and the alien crew inside screamed in terror. But Jaws was not alone. Tiger sharks and bull sharks were also hunting the alien ships, guided by human divers who had spent years learning how to work with these dangerous predators. The ocean had become a nightmare for any alien who tried to travel underwater, far away in the frozen Arctic. Army Ranger Captain Song Min-woo was leading his soldiers across the white ice, alongside some very special partners. Walking next to him was a massive polar bear named Biko. His white fur made him almost invisible against the snow. Biko was not just any polar bear. He weighed 1,500 pounds and was as tall as a horse when he stood on his back legs. His claws were longer than human fingers, and his bite was strong enough to crush a bowling ball. Most importantly, he had been trained to work with human soldiers. "I can see the alien patrol," Min-woo whispered into his radio, looking through his telescope. "Biko is moving into position now." The polar bear crept across the ice so quietly that even the alien's sensitive equipment could not detect him. His black nose, which was thousands of times better than any human nose, could smell the aliens even through their protective suits. When Biko attacked, it was like watching a white lightning bolt strike. His massive paws knocked the alien soldiers to the ground, and his claws tore through their armor like it was made of paper. The aliens' energy weapons were useless against a predator that moved faster than they could aim. But the most terrifying sight of all was happening in the forests of Siberia, where the aliens encountered the ultimate nightmare. A group of Siberian tigers, led by a huge male named Daeon, had been following an alien supply convoy for 3 days, waiting for the perfect moment to attack. Wildlife specialist Lee Yanzuk was hiding in the trees, watching the tigers through her binoculars. "They are hunting like a team," she whispered into her radio. "The female tigers are moving around to the sides, while Daeon gets ready to charge from the front." Daeon was the biggest tiger anyone had ever seen. He weighed 800 pounds and was 12 feet long from nose to tail. His orange and black stripes made him almost invisible in the shadowy forest, and his yellow eyes glowed like lamps in the darkness. The alien convoy was moving slowly through the forest when the tigers struck. They attacked from 3 different directions at once, moving so fast that the aliens could barely see them. Dayon leaped through the air like a giant cat, covering 30 feet in a single jump and landing on top of an alien vehicle. His massive paws crushed the metal roof of the vehicle, and his teeth, each one as long as a human finger, bit through the alien driver's helmet. The other tigers attacked the remaining vehicles, their incredible strength allowing them to flip over heavy alien trucks like they were toys. But the final surprise came from the sky. Thousands of birds, led by ravens, eagles, and hawks, were attacking the alien spaceships high above Earth. These birds had been trained by humans to carry small bombs and target the aliens' communication equipment. Colonel Park Suho watched from the command center as the birds swarmed around the alien space stations like a black cloud. "The ravens are using tools," he said in amazement. "They are carrying tiny explosives and dropping them on the alien satellites." The ravens were especially smart. They had learned to use sticks and stones as tools, and now they were using small bombs to destroy the aliens' ability to talk to each other. The aliens in space found themselves blind and deaf as their communication network was destroyed by creatures they had thought were just simple birds. The aliens were learning that Earth was not just home to humans and farm animals. It was a world full of perfect killing machines that had been fighting for survival for millions of years. The sun was rising over the Pacific Ocean when the final battle began. The alien command ship Annihilator floated in space like a giant metal monster, surrounded by the broken remains of what had once been a mighty invasion fleet. Admiral Vexstar stood in his control room, staring at his computer screens with fear and confusion in his eyes. "How did this happen?" shouted at his officers. "We're supposed to conquer this weak planet in just a few days? How did we lose to primitives and their stupid pets?" Down on Earth, General Kim Tae-wan was sitting in the Global Command Center, watching thousands of computer screens that showed the positions of every human soldier and every animal ally across the planet. What he was planning had never been done before in the history of war. "All units, prepare for the final attack," he said into his radio. "Every human, every animal, every creature on Earth will fight together as one family." What happened next was the most amazing sight anyone had ever seen. From every ocean, sea creatures began to move toward the alien ships. Whales as big as buildings swam alongside human submarines. Dolphins raced through the water next to human divers. Seals and sea lions followed behind, all of them working together like a single giant army. In the sky, thousands of birds filled the air like a moving storm cloud. Eagles and hawks flew next to human fighter jets, their sharp eyes helping the pilots spot alien targets. Air Force Captain Lee Soo-young looked out of her F-22 Raptor cockpit and saw a golden eagle flying right beside her plane. "This is incredible," she said into her radio. "The birds are guiding us to the alien weak spots." On land, the most powerful predators on Earth were marching alongside human soldiers. Tigers, lions, bears, and wolves moved in perfect formation with tanks and armored vehicles. It looked like something from a fantasy movie, but it was real. Admiral Vexstar watched his sensors as this massive force moved toward his position. "This is impossible," he whispered. "They are all acting like one giant creature. How can different species work together like this?" The attack was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Great white sharks jumped out of the water next to human submarines, their massive bodies flying through the air like living torpedoes. On floating platforms that the humans had built, soldiers rode horses across the water, jumping from platform to platform while firing their weapons at the alien ships. The aliens had never seen anything like this. In all their wars across the galaxy, they had fought against single species that used only their own technology. But Earth was different. Here, every living thing was united against the invaders. A pod of dolphins swam up to the Annihilator and began ramming its hull with their hard noses. At the same time, human divers placed explosive charges on the ship's weak points. The dolphins and humans worked together so perfectly that it looked like they could read each other's minds. "Sir, our hull is breaking," shouted one of the alien officers. "The sea creatures and the humans are attacking us at the same time." Admiral Vexstar realized that his mighty fleet was about to be destroyed. He activated his emergency radio and sent a message to all alien ships in the galaxy. This is Admiral Vexstar, to all Kethron fleet commanders. Stop the invasion of the third planet immediately. Do not come to this world. Pete, do not come to this world. Sir, why are we retreating? Asked his communications officer. Because we are not fighting just one species, Vexstar replied, watching as more dolphins and human divers broke through his ship's walls. We are fighting an entire planet that has learned to fight as one creature. We're still working began to fly away from Earth as fast as they could. As they escaped into space, they sent warning messages to every alien civilization in the galaxy. Earth was not a weak world full of harmless pets. It was a death world where every living thing was a weapon. After the aliens were gone, Dr. Kim Jae-sung, who was now in charge of protecting Earth from future invasions, stood in the Montana forest where the first alien ship had landed. He watched as huge grizzly bears played gently with human children, who had come to see the famous bears that had helped save their world. The aliens thought we were weak because we love our animals, he said to General Kim Tae-won. They never understood that our love for animals is what makes us strong. The general nodded and smiled as a beautiful golden eagle named Hanyul landed on his shoulder. Let them tell the whole galaxy about us, he said. Earth protects its family, and every living thing on this planet is part of our family. As the sun set behind the mountains, wolves began to howl in the distance. Their song carried across the land like a victory celebration, telling every creature on Earth that they had won. The message was clear to anyone in the galaxy who might be listening. Earth was no longer alone in the universe, but it was far from helpless. The friendship between humans and animals had saved the world. Now it would help them explore the stars.